What's up, everybody? Dead on board, bringing you some MTG goodness. We got top eights, top decks, all that kind of stuff. Seeing if Journey into Nyx broke in. Roosevelt here,
Bobby Digital.
um, bringing
So,
you
go
just bringing you information you might not feel like digging around for. If you weren't able to watch the streams, weren't able to, you had to work, you were in the event yourself or something, and yeah, just covering all that stuff that happened over the weekend.
Yeah, I was just gonna say start of a weekly thing, weekly recap, so we can check out all the decks each weekend, see the metagame shifts, any new sets come out, anything like that. So probably just dive into it.
Yep. Gonna start right here with the Star City Games Open deck list. This is Black Green Devotion, took first place. I'm not surprised here by this. I definitely thought that the temples were gonna see green show up in black and stuff like that. Uh, I don't know. I mean, I like it. I always like green black. What do you think about it?
I think well we got what? We got the 3 Abrupt Decays and the 1 Vraska mainboarded on green, and then just the 2 Golgari Charms on the sideboard. So we saw a deck like this when Theros had come out just with the 4, what are those called again? The Guild Gates, yeah, the
Yes.
4
Yeah.
Guild Gates.
Which this still plays two of.
Yeah, so even more green. What do you think these cards? Why green out of all the colors?
I mean, the biggest one for green, I would always think Abrupt Decay.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good removal spell in the format. You don't have to worry about your games against Esper getting countered or something against something silly. Um, Funny thing, you actually could like hit their elixir or something. I don't know. Well, I guess they could if they like tapped out, you could finally hit it or I don't know, whatever weird stuff. But Vraska is a card I like. I like seeing a Planeswalker in this kind of deck.
Mm-hmm.
Helps them handle enchantments with the destroy target permanent
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. Um, I don't know. Is it better than
Yeah,
Erebos in the main? I don't.
I mean,
Yeah.
probably. Also, the Abrupt Decays and the Golgari Charms give you an advantage in the mirror match because Underworld
Oh,
Connection,
against the
such a
connections,
huge
yeah.
card. You can take those out, win the attrition war. And we saw actually another thing: the 4 Lifebane zombies and no Night Veil Specters.
True.
So we're looking at a shift, from card advantage over to beating green white.
Yeah, yeah. Abrupt Decay also gives them access to destroying things like Detention Sphere
Yeah.
and Banishing Light if it shows up.
Mhm.
So that's another good part. Um, I mean, as far as the other top eights in this, we got a blue-white control list, junk mid-range, blue-white-red, which was kind of interesting. It was your typical kind of blue-white list, but it splashed red for Karanos, the new blue-red god, for some
Yeah.
extra card draw,
Right.
some extra board control. Black-white mid-range, typical humans, mono-black, Esper control, and then eighth was green-red monsters. So
Okay. So kind of interesting that it made it through a lot of control decks as well. Because black, you would think, could handle creature decks pretty easily, but there was multiple different blue-white control, Esper control, another mono blacklist, Miracle was almost
yeah,
the
yeah,
blue-white-red. So this black deck actually, with the Lifebane zombies, made it through a ton of control decks in top 8.
yeah.
So,
That's fine.
all right, we're going to move on to the next one.
Props to Andrew Tenjum.
All
Up,
right.
up next, this is the TCG Player series, the Max Point, the Platinum tournament that they had this weekend at Enchanted Realms. This was Black White Control by Dallas Holyfield. Um,
That name. That name. I
it's a
like that.
sweet
Dallas
name, actually.
Holyfield.
I'm kind of jealous of that. It's a hot name. Looking at the deck, I see almost like the Esper shell with things from Mono Black thrown in it. They kind of minus the blue for more hand removal, because you see the Elspeth and you see Blood Baron and stuff like that, as opposed to the devotion-based things.
Mhm.
There's no Nykthos, there's no what's his name, Grey Merchant of Asmodel, none of that guy. Um, Four Thoughtseize, two Duress, going for the hand hard. What do you
Right.
think?
I mean, the Duresses mainboarded. I don't remember how many control decks are actually in this top 8. I don't know if that helped or not, but that's interesting. And then just a ton of different removal spells. Elspeth is probably one of the best win conditions for control, but so is Obsidian. There's just a lot of good, probably the best win conditions in standard overall are in this deck.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Don't know if we talked about Blood Baron specifically, how good we've seen it be in some of these matchups because there's so much black-white around.
Oh yeah.
Just if your opponent doesn't have an answer for it, and they're playing those colors, they can't target it, they can't block it. A lot of times it just ends the game very quickly.
Yep.
So
I mean, black being the hot color right now, definitely sees good things against that. White's pretty prominent as well. You've even talked about how white, as a monocolor, seems really strong right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Blood Baron could, maybe, yeah. You would think with Banishing Light, which this deck plays, can maybe see some more things like that. Blood Baron is always so good in things like junk and stuff like that. So
what was that top 8?
The top 8 here, well, he faced Naya mid-range in the finals, which I would definitely assume those Duresses came out unless it's maybe like one of those Naya Hexproof where it's enchantment based.
Yeah, I haven't seen.
I don't know. Then you had red deck wins, Wars Off Control, another mid-range deck, and a heroic deck, which would obviously be.
It looks like a ton of aggro
too. Yeah,
red decks, burn decks. So Blood Baron was amazing. Duresses somewhat useless in top 8 possibly.
Yep.
Who knows? Those decks still have targets. It just depends on when you draw it. So.
Yep.
Did we talk about the 4 Mutavaults, right? We did.
Oh yeah. Well, they probably played the Mutavaults for the Pack Rat pump. And even going back, there's 2 red deck wins in this top 8. So I always think about Mizium Mortars and how it's one of the things that can target Blood Baron, but it ruins your tempo so much as red just trying to
they have it?
Deal with creatures. Did they have it as one? And if they do, did they still win that match? Because they're not dropping creatures, they're not doing their game plan. So
right. Sideboard, nothing crazy going on. The Lifebane zombies there we just talked about. Other than that, kind of just more copies of things it already has.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Neither one of these mono black decks we're seeing the card that I kind of liked, the Silence of Believers.
I don't know this one.
It's one that's double black.
Strive?
Colorless, yeah, with Strive, the one that can exile things. I just didn't know if that would maybe show up
as
a
list
or something. Yeah, just as a thing. Just because it can exile gods for black. So.
Okay, right. Plus it can hit multiple targets late game.
Yep. So. No Deicide here either. Adding white, but no Deicide. So.
Makes sense. All right. What do we have next?
Another TCG player. This was their gold tournament that happened at Crossroad Games. This was Mono Blue Devotion, piloted by Cassidy Delcourt. Nothing totally off the radar here, but he decided to play 2 copies of one new card, Hypnotic Siren. For any of those who don't know what it does, it's 1 blue for a 1/1 flyer. So he kind of cut down 1 Raptor and 1 Familiar for that. And then it's got Bestow for 7. You control the enchanted creature, so you would bestow it on one of your opponent's creatures, give it flying and +1/+1, and take it for the rest of the game, hopefully. That's kind of cool because even if they do kill it or handle it, you've got the 1/1, which still kind of counts toward devotion and stuff like that. So,
what do you think of the cutting the Raptor and the Familiar? Should he just have cut Familiar? Should he have cut Raptors? What is the call?
I am not a huge fan of Judge's Familiar. I've always felt it's just kind of been in the deck because it's the only decent 1 blue drop that does something a little bit extra. So I would not have cut the Raptors. I mean, he still plays first, so who am I to say whatever? But I would probably see things shift to a 4 Raptor, 4 Siren deck because you can either board. I guess you wouldn't want to board the Familiars, but they're just becoming so bad in the control matchups and stuff. I mean, the main spell you even kind of want to counter sometimes. They do it so late game that they can definitely save 1 for a Sphinx's Rev, and you can't even counter the Supreme Verdict or anything like that.
Right.
So
if you could hold off the Verdict a turn like a Wrath like you used to, but it's a little iffy at this point. Austin, go ahead.
I was gonna say I think with Shrine to Nykthos in the deck, Nykthos Shrine, you have more access to bestow the Siren by chance. You can do it turn 4 or something like that.
Actually, fantastic.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
It's interesting to think about actually because the deck's never really used its Nykthos for anything productive that costs a lot of mana, right?
It's
So it's kind of a mana sink.
Overload or something.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, you can always sink it into Thassa.
So,
Something you saw here that was interesting was the Hall of Triumph.
Hall of Triumph.
Yeah.
3 mana, choose a color. All of the creatures of that color get +1/+1. I don't know if it's worth it. Is this a deck that you need that? I mean, obviously with Master of Waves, right?
Oh yeah, I mean it's
Crazy,
like having
brutal swing. Maybe that's kind of you hold it back as a surprise effect and then swing for lethal because no one had seen it before this, or maybe someone had seen it but it's not big. So, do we talk about the lack of domestications? There are no domestications.
Yeah, not in the main. Yeah, just one Jace. Two domestications on the board and 2 more Jaces.
Also one Bident. Sometimes there's 2 of those.
Yeah.
So, I mean, cut a lot of those staple forecasting costs things.
Hoping to scry sort of into these 1/0s.
A little bit cheaper mana curve as well when you cut down off the 4s. I know in the sideboard we saw this Aetherize. You want to tell them what Aetherize does?
Aetherize. 1 blue, 3 colorless. Instant speed. Return all attacking creatures to their owner's hand.
Right.
So I mean, kind of a blowout in the aggro matches. Yeah. I could see that. You know, I mean, especially against things like Hexproof where they don't even think that their stuff can get targeted. They just sort of get on this swing more game plan, and you could just for 4 kind of set them back the whole game. And
we're saying that this is possibly better than Cyclonic Rift. It's
cheaper.
Yeah. Sometimes you can't cast the Cyclonic Rift for Overload, so this is kind of a cheaper version of that instance, possibly. That's kind of what we were hoping about on this one.
I can see that because I mean I could see that being what Rift is used for. You're gonna you never would use it. I mean, you'll bounce a few Planeswalkers or something like that in another game, but against the aggro match, I feel like you're gonna want to bounce them during combat. You know, after they've already tried to do some tricks or something. So.
Right. Cool. All right. Well, I think let's move on to the next one here. All right. So you see the name at the top, but I'd like to say that this is no longer the name.
Not Pure
No, not Pure Nystrom. He's fine. He's a good player. We know all about Pure Nystrom. But I'm talking about the Death and Taxes version, where I really think Death should be taken out. Death and Taxes used to be a black-white deck with Vindicate, things of that nature, Dark Confidant. Now it's only white, so now it just has to be taxes. All you do is tax people. But this is the switching formats. This is first place at Star City Games on Sunday.
Yep,
so switching over to Legacy. And it's a pretty stock list for this. A couple things we see. There's only one bro in this. Bromaz. You know, the king. That's sometimes I've seen 2 of those. I think I've even seen one with 3. Also, we got the Sword of Fire and Ice main boarded. Sometimes we only see the 1 Batterskull, 1 Jit. Anything else popping out of you on the main deck?
The main?
Or side even, whichever you want to jump to.
I mean, we're seeing Spirit of the Labyrinth see more play. 4 Phyrexian Revokers. I mean, I guess a lot of them play that. It does play Aether Vial and stuff like that. So you definitely want to lock things out with it. Nothing crazy. Horizon Canopy, Ports, Wastelands, you know, lock them out of land, stuff like that. So
that's that Wilt Leaf Liege in the sideboard. Don't always see that pretty funny card, Dodecapod style. You know, a lot of Hymn to Torox, a lot of Thoughtseizes. I guess no one's going to pick it with a Thoughtseize.
Liliana, though, the same kind of deck. Yeah.
Right.
You see her in Shardless Bug and stuff like that now.
You were thinking about this card. I know you didn't know, and you looked it up and were interested in it. Why don't you tell them about the Cataclysm?
Oh, Cataclysm. Yeah. I'm sort of new on Legacy. I mean, I've played Magic for a while and stuff like that, but as far as the real Legacy metagame and everything, I don't know all the cards. So Cataclysm was an interesting one when I looked at it. It's 2 white, 2 colorless, sorcery. Each player chooses an artifact, an enchantment, a land, and a creature, and then sacrifices the rest. I've just always been a fan of cards like that. Like when I had first started playing Magic in Onslaught block, a little bit after that, Mirrodin came out, and I really liked Death Cloud and the whole kind of forcing your opponent to make choices of sacrificing things and you building your board position upon that. So I like that sort of effect. And I think it's definitely good in a taxes kind of game. Because you only need a few lands anyway.
Right. You want to keep them low on resources. Also, we were looking at the Sunlance, which
Yeah.
not a heavily played card. Time Spiral block, 1 white, deal 3 damage to a creature.
Yeah.
And
Got a little hate towards that
we're
card.
not sure why he's playing it. If he wanted a 5th removal spell over swords, he could have ran Path to Exile.
Yeah.
Um,
Which hits, it gets him a land. But there's so many non-basic lands in the format. I don't even know if they'd be able to
sometimes they can't even
get
search.
one off of
Right.
it. So I don't know. Maybe you just want 5 against goblins. Maybe you want 5 against that random Ravager match or something you come across. I don't know.
Maybe we just don't know, and it's the tech, but I don't know. Well, let's move on to some more Legacy, if I can get it pulled up here. All right.
This one. Again, digging around. This was a Legacy event that happened in Europe. It was held by the people at Bazaar of Moxon, which is what BoM stands for. Those dudes have been doing this for a while. I think 2008 they started out. They were really trying to get Legacy and Vintage going in their area, and it really took off. And this event in particular had like 530 people.
Yes, 5
Had a good showing of decks and stuff like that. They definitely have their own metagame. I thought this was a very interesting deck. It's 4-color Loam, which it's got a few of the cards we see in traditional Legacy, but I think the choices and numbers and all of them put together made for an interesting deck. I don't know. What are your ideas on this?
Yeah, we were talking about the game plans, all that. We got the Green Sun targets only 1 Tarmogoyf, Scavenging Ooze, Dryad Arbor, Gaddock. So, and then we've got the Punishing Fire and Grove of the Burn Willows combo. And then we've got turn 1 Chalices, possibility with the Mox Diamond.
Yeah.
Got Life from the Loam with discard with Liliana, so you can keep card advantage to keep discarding those.
Yep.
So we really have just a crazy amount of different things going on, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's kind of like I'm gonna take every effect that really annoys people and just put it in here. Like, what do people hate? Oh, recurring burn, punishing flame. A first turn chalice for 1 against like Delver or Elves, something like that.
Storm.
They just might scoop it up. You get so much utility out of Knight of the Reliquary as a beater, and then you also get to get choices of your lands and stuff. I don't know. I like the deck. I'm surprised, looking back at it, I'm surprised there's not like a copy of Raven's Crime in here to really utilize the whole grind your opponent out with the Loam, since there are so many other 1-ofs, but a lot of them are Zenith targets, so that's probably why.
So, sideboard, nothing too interesting. You have the concession to dredge for ley lines. I don't think we saw other lists always have that, just hoping to not run into it.
True.
That we saw in that top 8.
Yeah. You'll see a lot of the decks that run Deathrite Shaman. They kind of feel that that's like enough sometimes for graveyard hate, and they'll have like one Grafdigger's Cage or something silly in the board to bring it up to 5, but it's kind of not enough. So I kind of like that. The chokes for sure.
Just
Golgari Charm.
1 targets for green. Yeah, Golgari Charm is interesting, seeing a little bit more legacy play. So
I agree. Yeah. It's just got so much utility to it. I think people are starting to pick up that it's got some functions. So.
And this is in a European metagame, so let's just look at their top 8 real quick. It's got, what is that, 6th through 8th place? Somewhere in there is a 3 Blue-White Miracles list, which you don't always see a lot of Blue-White Miracles unless it's a Joe Lissette in top 8 in America, so somewhat interesting. Then some taxes, elves, more taxes, Shardless Bug, and Loam, which is obviously what won here. What do you think about this metagame? It's a lot different from the one we just looked at.
It seems a little bit different, yeah. I don't want to say slower, but...
Less combo, right? We saw Reanimator, we saw Sneak and Show. Besides, if you count elves as the combo here, there's not a lot going on.
Yeah, a lot of people clearly like their creatures and they like their board sweepers. And stuff
which
like that.
Europe used to be known for combo. It used to have the more combo metagame, and I don't know that this represents all of Europe and all of Legacy. Not saying that, but just in this instance, we're not seeing that normal split that we used to see from Europe. So. Interesting. All right. Well, after that attack over there from that vibrating cell phone, let's talk about what's going on this week and things like that in the future.
Yeah.
Wanna-
Wednesday, the 7th at 9 p.m. we are going to be doing a box competition kind of thing.
Yes.
Bobby's going to open a box. I'm going to open a box. We're going to kind of see what's better. We're going to do a set review on top of that while we're opening packs and everything.
The hype for this is that the person that opens the better box wins an additional box. So it's a huge.
Yep. We'll be on stream, so if you guys want, if you guys want to talk to us about it and hang out with us, and
yes,
maybe make the loser do something. I don't know. We'll see what goes on with that.
Could happen.
But Saturday we got another live stream event coming too. White Widow Games again. They're doing another Star City Games Invitational Qualifier. It's gonna be standard. May 10th starts at 1 p.m. Different commentator this time. I'm actually going to be out of town. I'm going to the Modern GP in Minnesota.
Yes.
But a good friend of ours, Ryan Woodhall, big on the Myrtle Beach scene from back in the day in Magic. Definitely knows his stuff.
Old school. He actually was one of the players that originally got Fnatic Search banned in Magic. So if we might have him talk about that. That will be
hilarious.
Interesting.
That's hilarious.
Also, yes, you can give us a nice tournament report. And
yeah. Look out for tweets, and I'm gonna try and interview some people. I'm gonna get annoying. If I don't make day 2, right? Yeah, I'm just gonna find people. Travis Wu, Cedric Phillips. You guys aren't safe. I'll find you.
You think Wu's gonna be in Minnesota? I don't know.
Man, I don't know. He's been testing
a lot now.
Well, he's been testing that blue-white Modern list online, so he might be preparing for it.
I think he likes to play in Modern, so we'll see.
So.
But,
we would have done the box tonight, but I hate FedEx. That's another story.
You want to tell your FedEx story or no? You already
well, FedEx has 2 departments. You got home delivery and you got express. I don't know why there's 2 different things, but home delivery only operates Tuesday through Saturday. Why? Why is Monday not a business day? And I was happy that you guys do things Saturday. That's cool, because I just like things that function all the time. But it was really surprising to go to my FedEx Express store.
Yeah, you just went to pick it up, right?
With my slip that I got on Saturday. Yeah, went to go pick it up, and the guy says he can't help me with this. I say, why? He says, well, FedEx Express and FedEx Home Delivery are 2 different things. You can call the number on this slip and have them hold it at Kinko's. Okay, I guess I could do that. So yeah, that's the story with FedEx. That's why we're doing the box opening Wednesday instead of tonight. Look out for that. Other than that, I think that's about it.
No, I think we set everything up. Had the text scrolling so everyone knows what's up. So
yep.
Yeah, we can call it.
Roosevelt signing out.
Yeah, look out for tomorrow. So.